Anyone can win. Questions and answers. Presenter, Victoria Nolan. 2014 CNIB Braille Conference.
There is time for questions, so would you like to ask Victoria some questions? Just put your hand up, and we've got some mics coming around. Okay.
Hi, Victoria. It's Cheryl. Could you explain how you ran that half marathon?
Sure. So I ran with a partner who I had a tether. So it's like it was attached to her waist belt, and it was about maybe 18 inches long, and I held on to it. And then when we had a bit more space, I would be a bit further back from her. When it got crowded, I could move closer to her. A funny part of the story is that for this particular marathon, you can have costumes, and so she was actually dressed up as a guide dog.
You were getting into tandem riding. Did we hear that? Are you
Yes.
competing in that as well, or is that just for pleasure?
It started out for pleasure, but being the competitive person that I am, and my partner is one of the Olympic rowers, so you put the two of us together and you can't help but turn it competitive. So we did road racing last year and competed at nationals, and we're really excited about trying the velodrome because it's a sprint, which is more closely related to what we did in rowing. So we're hoping to try that in the new year.
Now, is that also an Olympic event?
It's a Paralympic event, yes. So it's a tandem bike on the velodrome.
Hi, Victoria, it's Diane. So as a triathlete whose goal is to get across the finish line in an upright position, I'm just wondering, how do you go from I just got to finish this to I would like to win a gold medal at the Paralympics? How do you take yourself from one stage to the next level?
Do you know what's been an ongoing, incredible lesson for me is what the human body is capable of. And you don't know that until you try and push your limits. I think the first time I learned it, I was working with a personal trainer. And we were doing this exercise, and I didn't think I could even do one more set. And he wanted me to do the same exercise but added something to it. I was like, I don't even think I can pick up the barbell right now. And he pushed me and he made me do it, and I didn't just pick it up, I finished what he had asked me to do. And I was in complete amazement that I could do that. And it just happens more and more when you try and you push yourself. It's incredible. And I think just making sure that you have the opportunity to push yourself, having someone to compete against, you have small goals that you're going to beat a certain time or a certain individual. And when you do it, for me, it was like I couldn't get enough of that feeling. It was so incredible. One of the best pieces of advice that I got from one of the Olympic coaches is that when you feel like you're completely done, like you couldn't go any further, you've actually only used up half of your body's energy. So it's a mechanism that your brain uses to protect you, but you really are only halfway through. Yeah.
Hi, this is Julia from Thank you for the amazing talk. I wanted to know if there were any resources that you happen to know of that perhaps suggested ideas or tips on kind of modifications that people have tried before, or places where people post, especially on a range of sports, including lower cost sports, because I know that that can be a barrier to participation in sports that require fees per year, etc.
Yes. Well, coincidentally, I just worked on a resource. I co-authored a resource called Paralympic Fundamentals, and it's available on the Paralympic website. And it's a fantastic curriculum because it's designed to teach Paralympic sports to all children, able-bodied children as well, and it gives you examples of the types of modifications you can use, but each activity in itself is designed for everyone to be able to participate in. So like I said earlier, it might be as simple as everybody is going to do this activity with a partner. So then whether you have a mobility issue or vision loss, you're going to have that support. There's lots of resources out there. The Active Living Alliance, PHE Canada, OFIA. If you want to take down my email address, I'd be happy to provide you with more information. So if anyone wants it, it's just nolan.victoria@gmail.com.
Other questions?
Thanks very much, Victoria. It's Penny from the World Blind Union, and once again, I was really inspired by what you had to say. One of my questions and concerns is always, how do we translate the success from Paralympics to just encouraging people who are blind or partially sighted to get active? And I know that was really the start of your journey, trying to get active. And of course, not all of us can be Paralympians, and maybe not involved in sports. So how can we translate those skills, those adaptations, to really help people to get active in their communities, to perhaps take courses at their local community centers? I take Aquafit and Zumba, for example. But you know what? It wasn't easy to work with the community centers to get the instructors initially to adapt what they were doing so that I could participate. I mean, now it's fine, but it's really difficult, I think, for many people to, first of all, make the call, to make the visit, to understand how they can advocate for themselves, what adaptations are needed, so that we can have a more active community, because it is so important. It makes such a huge difference to our self-esteem, but also to our health, because getting involved, being physically active, it improves your balance, it lessens your likelihood of falling, all those things that we really need to take advantage of. So I'd be really interested in what you have to say about that, and how we can use your experience and the experience of others to encourage more physical activity among just those of us normal people who aren't athletes, but who really should be more as much as active as we can be.
Yeah, I think you're right. It is challenging because, I mean, at this point, you're going to need to advocate for yourself, or to find someone who can help you advocate. I mean, there's help you can get, for example, the Active Living Alliance. You could get them to come into a community center and do presentations on how to make things more accessible for people, but it's going to take, some advocacy on your part. I think it's really important for kids as they're growing up that they, like I was saying, that they learn how to modify things for themselves so that they can be teachers as well, and as they get older they can explain to people, how simple it is really to adapt things. I know that's the biggest challenge right now, is we're writing this curriculum to be more accessible, but how are we going to educate all these people to implement it, and how are we going to make, I think a lot of people are afraid to take it on, maybe afraid of hurting the person, so unfortunately I think it's going to take time and education, and we just need to keep spreading the word.
Hi, just wanted to know if you've ever thought about trying skiing.
No, I would definitely never ever want to do downhill skiing. I know people who do, but yeah, it's not for me. That's what I loved about rowing and cycling. For me, that's pretty safe.
Can I ask just one more question? How active are your children in your life with your sports?
My children are extremely active. They're both into hockey. And it's actually funny because my husband's pushing them to be more active and I'm telling them to be less active. But they are pretty much doing one or two things every day. So yeah, it's extreme.
Victoria, it's been a real pleasure to listen to you speak today about your journey in sports. One thing we've realized is being a Paralympian and being sports is only the tip of the journey. It teaches you about finding your strengths, knowing what you're good at, moving forward, how to succeed. On behalf of everyone here in Victoria, we really appreciate your coming to speak to us today, and please accept this token of our appreciation.
CNIB, Seeing Beyond Vision Loss. This video has been made possible thanks to an educational grant from Novartis Pharmaceuticals Canada Incorporated.